Moving to the footwear maker, then Metro Brands. It's in focus. GST on footwear has been reduced at the rupees 2,500 point. The cut is from around 5% to 5% from around 12% earlier. Mr. Nissan Joseph, the CEO of Metro Brands, joins us on the show. Hi, sir. Good morning and good to see you in. Let's get some clarity out of you first. What proportion of your sales volume/value come from footwear sub 2,500 rupees? I was reading a couple of notes and some of them suggested around 40%. But you'll be the best analyst on your own company. So tell us, what's that number?
Right, Nigel, good morning and thanks for having me. Yes, the number is in the range of 40%, but depending on the different banners we have, as you know, we have Metro, Mochi, Walkway, and a few other brands and banners. In the different banners, that percentage would be significantly different. For example, in our Walkway business, it would be a high portion of our sales fall into that 2,500 and below range. And in the Metro Mochi business, it would be somewhere in the 40% range. The other thing to note here, though, is that two things. One is we are finally on parity with apparel, so that's exciting news for us. And the other thing is not only does it affect price points at 2,500 and below, we'd also be re-looking at price points about 2,500 to about 3,000 to say, is there an adjustment we can make by sharing some of that discounting to get some products in below the 2,500 rupee range, right? So I think there's a lot of positive momentum here. The good news is, I think for once, this is the first time that we've had a GST revision where we've not had to take up GST prices. So we're quite excited by it. Do I think it means everybody's going to run out and start shopping tomorrow? Not necessarily, but I think in the long run, it should bode well for consumer demand.
Okay, got that. Fair estimate then. Before we get to the benefits of GST, I want to ask you about the existing inventory clearance. How will that pan out? How much is it? How much inventory are you sitting on?
A lot, as opposed to all of the 40% we're sitting on it currently. So, and that's not an issue because, we programmed our registers to automatically take the differential and give the consumer that benefit of savings, right? It may not be easy to communicate on every single price point that particular discount, but I think when they go to checkout, they're definitely going to see that we've given them the benefit of the GST decreases.
Just one point. Good morning, Prashant here. What could you give us an overall sense of, what percentage of the portfolio is impacted by these reductions for you?
Yeah, Prashant, good morning. I think it's definitely in the 40% range that you're going to see, especially with Metro and Mochi carrying the brunt of the weight of our business, right? However, we also have brands like Crocs and Clarks that may not benefit much from it. But on the flip side, our Walkway chain will benefit significantly from it. So averaging it out we're going to see price reductions in about 40% of our chain inventory.
And Walkway is only about 70, 80 stores right now. Of course, I'm assuming that number will go up significantly. So the overall portfolio will also shift as time goes by, right?
Absolutely, correct.
And 300 to 3,500 rupees is essentially the range at Walkway.
No. Walkway is under 1,000 rupees.
Oh, all of it is under 1,000?
Well, I'm talking about the average is under 1,000. But when you look at our Metro Mochi business, that's what you're referring to, Prashant. That runs about 3,000 plus. Okay.
No, I was saying that starts at 300 and goes up to Walkway. Starts at 300 rupees.
Well, I think from a velocity weighted standpoint, it has a broad, it goes from 300 to 2,400. But if you look at the price, the velocity of goods over 1,000 rupees, it would not be as significant. It'd be in the low teens, whereas 80% of it would be below that 1,000 rupee range.
You've also, I think, said that over and above the cut in prices for sub 2,500, you will look at additional discounts.
Yeah, Rima, the whole point is, there's a consumer psychology that, when you hit the 2,500 price point, it brings affordability to a lot of people. So if you have something that sells for 2,700, for example, right, would we be benefiting the consumer and ourselves by just taking it down to 25 because we would get 140 rupees of GST benefit, we'd have to chip in 60 rupees of discounts. But does that get a consumer demand? Because we know it's quite elastic, the demand price elasticity there. So would we want to take benefit of that? These are things that we're going to keep measuring and seeing how we want to attack it and address it in the days to come.
Discounts are only for products which would be priced, say, 10 to 15% above the 2,500 mark. Is that correct? So that you can bring it in the lower bracket where the lower GST rates are applicable.
That's correct. And, if anybody had a 2,599 price point, that's almost obsolete anymore, right? So.
Right. So what's your own internal estimate on account of these GST revisions? What could be the extent of incremental sales? What are you working with?
Yeah, I think, I'd rather stick to what we've always guided. I think on a long-term basis, we can feel confident that we'll continue to hit our 15% CAGR growth over the period of time. If you look at, we've had a few muted quarters, there's no doubt about it. But if you look at our performance over FY19, we're up in the 100% range over FY19. So overall, we've slipped back a little bit from that 15% I guided to. However, we're confident that this kind of initiative gets us comfortably back into that 15% plus guidance for the long term.
Any intangible benefits, that you foresee with this lower GST coming into play?
I don't know about intangible, but I think another benefit is, as we go into end of season sale, right? There's a lot of products that might hit the 2,500 mark or might hit the 2,600 mark with the 20 or 30% discount we would give at the end of season sale. Now, all of a sudden, if you took it down to 25, it's no incremental discount to us as a retailer, but it's a benefit to the consumer. So, there are some advantages as we look into going forward, even going through the end of season sale period, which comes, at the end of this calendar year.
Got that. We'll leave it there. Thank you very much for joining us. And I think, if you're able to speak in about, 15 days, 20 days time, you'll have numbers, hard numbers, Mrs. Nissan.
That's right.
In terms of how things are panning out. But very useful. Appreciate it here on CNBC TV 18. Well,